And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that a lot of the ideas were actually, there was actually a lot of pre-planning that wasn't actually for that game, but was for the Spectrum. Because it takes time, when a new machine comes out, I think a lot of designers think in terms of, the games they're writing, they're actually thinking in terms of the potential of the machine. And the machine moulds the games more than most publishers would like to accept. They want a franchise that is the same across all platforms. And so the several months I'd spent prior to starting Manic were like learning the ins and outs of the Spectrum and reading the Spectrum manual. So, but the actual coding was 8 weeks. Got a question?
Yeah. Was Minor Willy an intentional reference?
Well, yes, there was a joke in there somewhere. I'm sure. Yeah, it was, Willy is a funnier name than George. Maybe not John Thomas or Percy or.
I suppose the follow-up question is it referring to yourself or someone else?
Oh, initially somebody else. Although I was only a little boy at the time, so who knows. Next question. Is it any bigger now?
So the next game called Major Willy.
Okay. Serious questions only, folks.
Why did you drop out the scene? I know it's going back then.
Dropping out the scene. Well, this is one thing. This is one thing. Like fame is a very, very funny thing. The scene is what the media choose is the scene this week. It's and the scene is often there's two versions of the scene. There's the scene the media perceives as there's the scene which is the alliance of all the people meeting in their own time and drinking in the same places and generally hanging out together and feeding back off each other all the time. And it is very hard to stay in touch with people when you can't afford a bus fare and you can't afford a telephone, and so that kind of automatically rules a lot of people out of the scene. Just from the I think when the Liverpool scene actually began to dry up, a lot of the people moved away to other places, and I grew up like a mile from Liverpool city centre, but it's because of the Merseys in the way. There's no way of even going downtown without like some cash in your pocket. So it's it was never actually a conscious decision to drop out of the scene. It's just force of circumstances, I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, because you said like you didn't make actually a lot of money out of running Manic. What kind of thing did you spend your money on then?
Spreading love and happiness. It started off as I did have a large amount of money from Bug Fight for Manic Miner, But by the time I finally gotten to cough it up, I was already owed a lot more from even from Manic Miner. I was still owed another 30,000 from Manic Miner from software projects. And so when I got the 30,000 from there, I mean, I don't want to like upset the anything by revealing how much I was getting, but it was 30,000. And when that actually landed in my sweaty hands as a 17-year-old who was just beginning to discover women and drink and motorbikes and all that stuff, and it was okay to spend it because there was plenty more coming, and so I didn't have to buy a house with this first 30,000. I'd get my house with the second 30,000, and 30,000 bought a fairly decent house back then as well, and so I spent it.
I was wondering if you have any outrageous hobbies or anything, but by the sounds of it...
It wouldn't be considered outrageous. It's become almost a very popular hobby to like tour all the festivals during the summer and to take ridiculous drink and ridiculous amounts and just prove how manly you are by just first we laid out in the gutter. I'm sure some of the people I used to drink with respect me very greatly for the amounts of alcohol I could consume in the night, and of course I wouldn't do it again. If you're listening, kids, just keep it safe. Just say no, thank you. There's no harm in being polite. And good point. Yeah. Any more questions?
You've been compared to the Sid Barrett of the gaming world.
Yeah.
Do you think that holds, or if it's...
Well, I've never met Sid Barrett. I mean, you can never tell like whether any of the stories about him are true.
The stories about you, Troy.
Which stories? Yeah.
The one that suggested that you'd had £1 million and
Oh no.
they'd gone up in smoke.
I would say, yeah, it was 30,000. It was the final settlement check I harassed out of Bug Bite after I withdrew the contract. After I withdrew the right to manufacture. Manic sets. They actually tried to claw some of that back. They reckon they paid me too much. But I spent it.
Did you not get anything for Jet Set Willy?
No, I will have to say, I never ever received a penny in royalties off Jet Set Willy and haven't to this day. In any form, on any platform. And that's largely due to being a director of the publishing company and plowing it all back in until it was all ploughed in and ploughed away.
How many units did you
Empty field, very, very well ploughed.
How many units did you sell?
Well, I believe it was well over 500,000 on just the Spectrum and the 64 in Europe, and then there was plenty in Japan on various Japanese platforms. So it might have been $1 million seller. All in all, Jet Set Willy in there. It might still be if the GBA version comes out. And if I should get some money off the GBA version, then that will actually be the very, very first time I've ever received any royalties from that.